I'm Cindy Wilson, and this is Home Sweet Home Crafty Creations. In today's video, we are going to do 5 projects to help you get geared up into doing your own spring DIYs. The first 4 are going to make your houseplants look absolutely fabulous. If this is something that might interest you, or you think might interest you, stick around, grab something to drink, and let's do this. The first project, we are just going to take a serving platter / cutting board from Dollarama, attach some legs, which are actually 1-inch beads that I have filled with a bit of air dry clay just to seal off on one end. We're going to use those as the feet, attach them to the bottom, and paint everything in white. This one is going to be probably one of the easiest projects you've ever done. I know it didn't take me very long. I think the paint is what takes the longest for drying, and that's kind of where I lose my patience sometimes. I'm not a very patient person when it comes to crafting. So take your cutting board, attach your feet, and paint it white, or whatever colors. I ended up applying 2 coats of paint. On the bottom, I did not cover up the air dry clay with paint at this point. If you can see, it's still kind of a yellowy color, and that means it's not dry. And if I were to paint over at it, it's just going to compromise the clay, probably end up cracking, probably end up popping out of the wood itself. So I did not paint over it, just the white itself, and a little bit of distressing once it was dry. For the label decal embellishment on the tray, I did the tissue paper print. I think if anybody has watched the video where I did the candle with the rabbit on it, I believe 2 videos ago, and it's just the same concept, that you print off your image onto plain tissue paper, and basically you're going to decoupage it onto your tray. Once you have your image printed, and I should tell you first, it was with a laser printer, on this one. The rabbit one I did on a regular inkjet printer, but this, because of I'm going to be rubbing over top of it with glue and water, it probably would not work with an inkjet. I haven't tried it. You can try it if you'd like, but I'm almost sure it is not going to work. So make sure that you print this image off on a laser printer and you should be good to go. Also, with this one, I'm going to do just basically straight glue with a little bit of water on the paintbrush to adhere the image to the tray, to the riser. And in the second part, where I do another batch of labels, I do it just a little bit different than this one. I end up more water than glue, because I found this one stuck really quickly and I really wanted to reposition again, but I was scared I was going to tear the tissue paper. So it's where it is because of fear, I guess is a good way to put it, and not wanting to destroy it completely. But yeah, just a bit of water kind of thing to help it adhere down a little bit better, a bit of glue onto the brush, and just very, very gently brush this on, because if you put too much pressure on, you're going to destroy the decal completely. And I know, because in part of the video that you don't see, I do exactly that. So go easy and you'll be just fine. The next part of this is silicone molds that I had picked up from Amazon. Amazing, amazing things to have in the craft room. First time I've tried this, definitely love them, definitely going to be using them again in the future. I will leave a link down to them in the description box below, as well as paint colors, anything else, the decals, a link to the decals. They came from Graphics Fairy, by the way, and great people there, great lady there, and amazing, amazing things to download for free to use for your crafting projects. The silicone molds were basically pretty straightforward. Putting the air dry clay into the mold, coating the mold very lightly first with cornstarch so that the clay will release when the time comes. And then once it was done, measured it to make sure it would go around the top of the pot. Thrifted pots, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. $2.50 a piece. These are just amazing, and they turned out amazing. You'll see in a bit. And to secure the air dry clay to the pot, a bit of Gorilla Gel glue, and that's all I used. Let it dry, and again, there's that patience factor. I started rushing things, and when I rushed things, I put the plant pots next to the heat, therefore making the air dry clay crack, and you'll see the cracks all the way around on them. But the whole point of this was vintage look, vintage decaling, vintage everything, painting, you name it. So I decided I was not going to go and take spackle or anything else and fix those cracks. I was going to leave them just the way they were. And you'll see at the end, I think they look great. They look old, and that was the whole point of this. And with this, it was 2 coats of white paint. I used a stencil brush to get in all those little nooks and crannies on the air dry clay. My lips aren't working tonight, I'll tell you. And then again, the same technique I used earlier with printing the stencil for the front of the pots, and decoupaged it on. They look great. I let them dry completely before I grabbed some Java. It's called chalk paint. Adirondack white is the other color, and Castle is the third color. And then just sporadically pouncing with a stencil brush all over the pots with each of those colors until I came up with this funky design, and actually stenciling over top of the image itself too, because this is supposed to be old, remember? So I mean, I can't have an old looking pot with a great big wonderful clear looking image on the front. So you're going to see I do go over top of the stencil as well too, just to add to the aging effect. And I'm thinking, for me personally, I really liked it, and I like the way it turned out. And again, preference on your choice as to whether you do something like this, if you would do the same or not, or you'll leave them white, or how you'll do your own. But this is what I did with mine. Well, let me tell you, that riser, that $2 or $3.50 cutting board from Dollarama, and those $2.50 pots with paint on them, believe me, the pictures do not do them justice. They look absolutely amazing up close and in real life, and I really wish I could share that with you, but this is as close as I could get to. Absolutely love these. The next project is going to be a vase. This again in the theme of making your houseplants look fabulous. These aren't going to actually be houseplants that'll go into here. The plan with this vase was to make another urn. I'm really hooked on those now, by the way. And in the springtime, or sorry, early summer, when my peonies start to bloom. The backyard smells absolutely phenomenal, and I like to bring a few of the flowers into the house, put them into a vase, and let that smell just drift through the whole house. This vase here, with the, I believe I put 2 coats of the Castle paint on it, and then I'll do a little concoction with Castle white and the baking soda again for the final coat. This vase anyway will stay glass on the inside. I'm not completely painting all the way down. I just paint on the inside of the upper half of the lip there. The lower half is still just plain glass. Therefore, I'm going to be able to put water into this and bring those peonies into the house in the spring and give them an amazing jar to sit in and look absolutely gorgeous in the house. The word that comes to mind when I look at this is stunning. I absolutely in love with it, like I am with the last urn that I created. This one here, up close and personal, it's gorgeous. There's just no other word for it. The next project, is a container that I had kicking around from a previous year of gardening, and it was just a saucer. I would throw some odds and end plants, usually something with a shallow root. It didn't have to definitely be a certain kind of plant. Just shallow root would work just fine in here, but it has its wear and tear, so I decided to give it a little bit of a facelift and make it part of this project, or the plant project for in the house, because with it being sprayed with the stone coating, you cannot put that back outside, unfortunately. And this one too, same colors as I used for the urn, the Java, the white, and this Castle, and pounced it onto the container with the stencil brush and gave it a little funky pattern, a little funky look, and it's just gorgeous. In the end, you'll see. This here is probably the easiest DIY I've ever done in my life. I went thrifting, and yes, it has a crack in it, but this salad bowl was sitting there for $12, and it just found its way into my hand and into my car on the way home. The mortar and pestle came from Dollarama. The 2 pieces together were not a plan. It was kind of an accident when they were both sitting on the shelf side by side, and I just happened to look at it and went, I know what I'm going to do this. There'd be a lot of people that would be upset with me for painting the wood salad bowl, and I get that 100%. Really not crazy about the idea of painting something like that myself. But putting a little glue on the bottom of it, I didn't think was really such a bad thing, considering I could pop the glue off later or bottom off later, and the bowl is still completely intact and still looks just fine. So out came the hot glue, and in 2 seconds I connected the 2 together. And like I said, this is probably the quickest, most easiest DIY I've ever done with a thrifted item. And you'll see in about 2 seconds that it looks gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, and there's no need to do anything else to it. And yeah, that container with the succulents, the fake succulents, by the way, in there, and the beads, the 3 together, sitting on my dining room table, absolutely perfect pieces. I could not have asked for better. I was going to put a plant into it, but I'm too scared to damage the wood any more than it already is. So it's just going to sit as an empty bowl right now, or a fruit bowl at some point. All 3 projects. Sorry, not 3. There was 5 altogether. Sorry. Just came out amazing. I have no other word for it. Hope you enjoyed them. Hope you come back sometime. Do this again with me. And thanks for being there. I really appreciate everybody who has subscribed recently and joined the crew. Looking forward to many more projects with all of you. Hope to see you all again soon, and bring your friends next time. We'll have a blast. Bye for now.